Hey, ¿qué es la que hay, mi gente? It's Rocky here from SpeakSpanishFaster.com y hoy hablaremos del verbo gustar. Today we're going to be talking about the verb gustar in Spanish. Now I've done a video on this, but a lot of people still have questions, and I know why, because this verb can be tricky for people learning Spanish because it functions differently than most other verbs. That's because gustar, even though it means to like, it really means to be pleasing. Okay, and this is what causes confusion. So it's like to be pleasing to. So let's dive in, all right, and let's kind of cover the verb. I'll cover why some people struggle with it, and I'll show you like how to master it. So the first thing to understand is that when we use the verb gustar, like I just said, we're saying what is pleasing to, let's say, me, you, or someone else. So the object pronoun here, me, te, le, nos, os, les, those pronouns show who the action is pleasing to. And the verb gustar agrees with the subject, which is the thing that is being liked. All right, so that basic framework right there should help you understand how to use this. All right, but let's run through some examples. That's really the best way to learn, is to see examples and then reverse engineer why. So let's look at the first example. Me gusta el helado. So I like ice cream. So here, I like, now a lot of people will say, why isn't it gusto el helado? I like ice cream, gusto el helado. But again, we have to remember that the verb gustar technically means pleasing to. So when I say me gusta, I'm saying the ice cream is pleasing to me. Okay? So me gusta is used with helado, el helado. So the ice cream is pleasing to me. Me gusta el helado. Now me here again is me, and gus is gusta, not gustan, because gusta is with, again, helado, which is singular here. Let's look at another example. Me gustan las manzanas. I like apples. Now, why is it gustan this time? Is because the verb gustar associates. Whenever I speak English and Spanish together, I always have issues. But the verb gustar associates with las manzanas, which is plural here. Third person plural. So if you were to put the verb gustar on a typical conjugation thing, right? You would see gusto, gustas, gusta, gustamos, gustáis, gustan. So las manzanas, they're third person plural, so it's gustan. All right, let's look at another example. A Juan le gusta correr. So Juan likes to run. Now, as you can see, I put the a Juan here because this time it's not just what I like, it's what Juan likes. So the le here correlates with Juan. And then what does he like to do? He likes to run. So anytime you have a verb that comes after like what you like to do, and it's a verb, like I like to run, I like to sing, I like to talk, me gusta correr, me gusta cantar, me gusta hablar. The verb gustar will always be singular there. Anytime there's a verb after I like, or he likes, or she likes to do something, it will never be gustan correr, all right? So it'll just be, because the verb here is what associates with the verb gustar. And that verb can only be singular, all right? So it'll never be a ellos le gustan correr. It would be a ellos les, plural, because it's the le, the object pronouns here are with who it's to. Ellos les gusta correr. So anytime you're using a verb after gustar to express liking doing something, then it'll always be gusta, all right? Now, if you say A ellos les gustan los carros. If you say they like cars, well, now we have two plurals here, right? We have a ellos les. The les is with ellos. And then we have los carros gustan, all right? So a ellos les gustan los carros. Well, that's why you have that there. Gustan refers to los carros and les refers to a ellos. So as you can see, once you really get the hang of it, it should get easy because once you master these rules, the rules don't really change. So it should be pretty easy to get. You'll be mostly using gusta or gustan depending on whether the subject is singular or plural. Now, of course, another thing to remember is that you can also use the verb gustar in the past or future tense. And remember, it's going to be staying in the third person. So if I want to say, I liked the food, I would say, me gustó la comida. So the verb gustar here turns to the past. I'm still the same person, so me stays the same. But I like, or the food was pleasing to me. So la comida gustó me, okay? Me gustó la comida. You can also do the same thing if you want to say I used to like. So me gustaban las manzanas. I used to like apples. Again, me stays the same. Las manzanas. Before, when I said I like the apples, it was gustan. But now we're using the imperfect form here. So it's I used to like them. They used to be pleasing to me. Gustaban las manzanas. So me gustaban las manzanas. Now, one area that can really get confusing is when you want to talk about like other people. So if I want to say I like you, I would say tú me gustas, right? You are pleasing to me. This time you are the subject here. Tú me gustas. A lot of people will say yo te gusto. They'll think that means I like you, but that actually means you like me. All right? Because yo te gusto, I am pleasing to you. Here, yo is the subject that's with gusto. So if I say yo te gusto, that means you like me. I am pleasing to you. If I want to say you are pleasing to me, or I like you, I would say tú me gustas. Now, the reason I know that this is a common mistake is I remember when I first started learning Spanish back in middle school. I think I was 14 when I really first started learning Spanish. And I was trying to talk to this girl. I know middle schooler trying to talk. What was I on, man? I was trying to talk to this girl in middle school. She was actually Peruvian. She spoke Spanish. She spoke English too. But of course, I was trying to get, talk to her, trying to get with her so I could practice my Spanish. Not to say I didn't like her, but I specifically wanted to talk to, a Latina so that I could practice my Spanish. And I remember one time I said, me gusta a ti, or something like that. It was a huge mistake, and she laughed, and she said, that's not how you say it. And I was like, what do you mean? And I was like, okay, maybe. So I thought about it. I was like, all right, yo te gusto. And then she was like, no, that's not what you're trying to say. And I was like, what do you mean? I'm trying to say I like you. And she was like, yes. She would say, tú me gustas. And I was confused, and I had to really look at why would I say it like that. And after a while, I figured it out. But that memory will always stick in my head. And that's why it's important to really put yourself out there and be fearless when trying to learn Spanish. You're going to make mistakes. You will get laughed at. But it's those experiences that help you learn. Because I got laughed at, because I put myself out there, I never made that mistake again. So that's just one of the many reasons why, I know I always say, take your time when speaking. But when you're going to speak, be sure to speak with people you're comfortable with. Because I was comfortable speaking with her. And even if I made a mistake, and even if she laughed at me, I know she wasn't really being mean or anything. She was just laughing because it was funny. And she didn't try to like, oh, say, oh, you don't know Spanish. What are you doing? Stuff like that. Like, I made so many mistakes when learning Spanish growing up, but thankfully I was younger, so I didn't really care as much, because now I could see as an adult, it'd probably be harder to make those same mistakes as when I'm in middle school. Like, I don't really care. I didn't really care. But yeah, I could literally remember so many mistakes in my head that I can just go through with you right now, but I'm going to save you that. And maybe I'll do another video on all the mistakes I made. Probably not, but that's the thing, all right? Put yourself out there, because Spanish is words are much easier to learn and retain when you have experiences that you can tie them to. All right, so that's a key thing to remember. Now let's talk about some other verbs that function similarly to gustar, all right? These verbs also express a feeling or opinion towards something, and it requires the use of an indirect object pronouns. So the main ones I'll cover here, but there are more, are encantar, interesar, and faltar. So first, let's talk about the verb encantar. So this is how you would say, I love something. And I'm not talking about when you want to say, I love you to somebody, but I'm talking about expressing strong feelings for an object, like me encanta la música. I love music. This verb really means it's like the music is enchanting to me. Or if I say, a ella le encantan los perros, the dogs are enchanting to her. But it really means she loves the dogs. But this verb encantar is used the same way as the verb gustar. All right, so all the same rules that apply to gustar would apply to encantar. They would also apply to interesar. That's kind of clear. It's interesting to me. So if I say me interesa or me interesan, depends on which subject I'm talking about. So I can say me interesan los documentales. That means I'm interested in documentaries, but it also means the documentaries are, what it really means is the documentaries are interesting to me. All right, so again, that applies, all the same rules apply. Another verb is the verb faltar. So if I say, me falta tiempo para hacer todo, I lack the time to do everything, but it's really like the time is lacking to me, okay? Or if I say, a ella le faltan dos libros para completar su colección, the books are so she's missing the books, but it's really the books are lacking to her. So a ella le faltan dos libros. If it was one libro, it would be a ella le falta un libro. So you'll see the same exact rules apply to these verbs, and there are some other verbs that you can look up if you're interested. So I hope this video brings some clarity, some more clarity to the verb gustar, and it helps you better understand how to use not only gustar, but other verbs that are similar to it, because they're different than how you would use normal verbs, which we've already seen. For example, like if I say, I love you, which is using the verb amar, I could say, yo te amo. But if I want to say, I like you, then I wouldn't say, yo te gusto. It's different because the verb gustar acts differently. Remember, it's tú me gustas. You are liking to me. So remember those rules. I really hope this helps you out. I hope it helps remove some of the cloudiness that has been, or the problems that this verb has been causing people. And yeah, if you found this video helpful and you're looking to take your Spanish to the next level up a bit so that you can become fluent, so that you can speak Spanish with other people, understand easily or easier, definitely check out my 3 secrets to learn Spanish faster. I'll put a link to that in the comments down below. Just scroll down, click that link. Basically, the way I like to describe this is like, look, if I had to learn Spanish all over again from scratch, these would be the 3 things that I would do and I would focus on all the time. And it doesn't matter which level you're at. You could be a beginner, you could have studied Spanish in school or use all different other programs and language learning apps and all that stuff. It doesn't matter. You could have used all that, and these 3 secrets will still help you because they approach learning Spanish differently than pretty much everything else. So definitely click that link if you really want to improve your Spanish. If you enjoyed the video, do me a big favor. Hit the thumbs up for me. Comment below. Let me know what else you need help with. Last but not least, please do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications so you never miss another video. Hasta la próxima vez. Hablamos.